Dear friends,
Now you can start.
dear friends, before my friend and colleague Anil Sachdev comes and talks to you, let me take this opportunity of telling you a little bit about soil and why we exist. You will get the total picture only if I can first explain to you the background of why we exist. For that, we need to go and understand the forces that are impacting the world, and India in particular, the leadership required in modern times, and the education that is needed as a preparation for performing such leadership functions. I would just like you to focus on the national income statistics of India over the last 60 years. As of today, agriculture accounts for 14% of our national income or our GDP. Industry accounts for 27% and services 59%. Things have changed a lot over the years. In 1950-51, agriculture accounted for 53%, industry 17%, and services 30%. What has happened over the past 60 years? The contribution of industry has contribution of services have almost doubled. That of agriculture has declined drastically. These trends are in line with what is happening all over the world. Now look at the labor force participation. To produce 14% of the GDP, we need 52% of our population. For producing 27% of our GDP, 14% of our occupation of our population accounts for 27% of the GDP. And as far as services are concerned, 34% of the population accounts for 59% of the GDP. So where do you find the maximum contribution? It is obviously from the services sector. And chances are that in future, the services sector will continue to make great strides, and the contribution it will be making to our national income will be even greater. So what does this presuppose? We are now entering a knowledge economy. This is a borderless economy. It presupposes that there will be a lot of competition. The demographics will change. In other countries, what is happening, in fact, is that the workforce is declining. In our own country, it is increasing. And the workforce will now account for, in 10 years' time, will account for 68% of our population. So what it really means is that we have to prepare you for this kind of scenario. And there is only one school in the country which takes conscious decisions in preparing its curriculum, taking into account various economic, political, social, and economic trends. What is the leadership which we require to meet this kind of challenge? Well, at the lower levels, certainly domain knowledge is important. At middle levels, you need intercommunication and intercommunication skills, interpersonal skills. At the highest level, you need conceptual skills and planning skills. Now, how does soil prepare you for this challenge? Before my dear friend and colleague and the founder of the school, Anil Sachdev, takes over from me, I would only like to stress that to meet this scenario, you need character, you need good domain knowledge, you need competence, and you need to be enthusiastic. In other words, the education you require requires that you should be holistic in your approach. For this very purpose, Soil has got some unique programs. It's got a social innovation program, it's got a mentorship program, which prepares you for the world outside the classroom. It helps you to transfer, these programs help you to transfer your classroom learning to your place of work, to convert this classroom learning, theoretical learning, into practical application. For this very purpose, we also have action learning programs which are designed to achieve this very same objective. In fact, in Soil, your preparation for the world outside begins with the talent appreciation process, that is your admission process, which helps you identify your unique strengths. Soil also has other unique programs like theatre and yoga, which are an integral part of a modern management curriculum. You are taken to a Himalayan retreat once a year. And this again emphasizes, so in other words, what we are doing is not only emphasizing your development of your analytical skills, but also your emotional quotient and your spiritual quotient, so that all the various forces that govern you and govern the modern world are, let me put it differently, all the different forces that are interacting within you remain in some kind of harmony. So I'm sure Anil has got a lot more to say to you, and I would now request him to take over.
Thank you, Hardyal, and welcome to this time and space, my friends, on this wonderful medium of this technology that brings us face to face. So, let me say that, for me this was personally something like a dream. I'm the son of an army officer, and when I was growing up, some things happened in my life which had a very profound impact on me. When I was just 8 years old, India lost a war to China, and we were living in Delhi those days. And the scenes that I saw as a little child, on one hand, they deeply saddened me when we would see the dead bodies of soldiers coming back. And on the other hand, I saw people from lower middle class families in Delhi, women removing all their jewelry and donating to the families of the Jawans who were killed. My sister used to study in Delhi in Miranda House, and one evening when she came back, she had been in an army function with the Prime Minister of the country because she was an under officer with the NCC. And that day, Lata Mangeshkar sang a song for the first time, "Mere Watan ke logo zara aankh mein bhar lo pani, jo shaheed hue hain unki zara yaad karo qurbani." And my sister is a wonderful singer, so she came back that night and told the story at our dinner table about how Pandit Nehru had tears in his eyes. And as a little child, when I heard this, I said, when I grow up, I want to do something significant to bring the pride back to the country. I also saw the following year this movie called Hakikat, which was about the China war, which also impacted me a lot. And the following year, Pandit Nehru died, and my school participated in the funeral parade. And I was playing the bugle and walking with Nehruji's funeral cortege. These incidents all had a very profound impact on me when I was a little child. I was also very fortunate that I had a wonderful teacher called Swami Chinmayananda, the greatest spiritual master of the 20th century. And I and my family were very deeply inspired by his work. Swami Chinmayananda was a person who really, every moment spent in his presence was absolutely fantastic. See, you could time the watch by his arrival. Everything happened on time. And the love that you felt in his presence was something very special. So we were all members of this children's group called Balavihar. And we used to read this pledge to each other that we stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is devotion to the Supreme Self. So all these stories of growing up, about serving the mother, about serving the country, had a very profound impact on me. And I said, you know, when I grow up, I'm going to make a mission of my life, and this is something I dreamt when I was doing my management studies, that I would work in industry for the first part of my life. The second part of my life, I would create a think tank and a consulting company that would transform Indian industry so that we could create wealth and therefore remove poverty from India. Because at one time, India used to produce 70% of the world's GDP. But thanks to the rule of the British and the Mughals, we had been reduced to a mediocre country. So I had secretly, when I was growing up, I used to dream we must bring that pride back to India. And we must transform Indian industry to create more jobs, to create more wealth, to bring back that economic power to India, but also do it in a way which was truly based on sound values, which is what we learned from my family, from my teachers. And so I dreamt of creating a consulting organization. And you see, my grandfather was the headmaster of a school, and he was a wonderful teacher, and I had heard many stories about the power of education. So I said to myself, I will first work in industry. So I worked with Tatas and Eicher. I was very fortunate that I worked in a company called Eicher, which had some exceptional people. So at a very young age, I handled large part of the portfolio of Eicher and then joined the board of the company. Then we created a company called Eicher Consultancy. And finally, about 12 years back, I decided that I will step down from my role from Eicher and the founder of Eicher Consulting and dedicate the rest of my life to growing the next generation talent, which is people like you. I dreamt that our time as India had come, that we had to produce not just world-class products and services, but we had to produce wonderful people, because I had a lot of faith in the young people of this country. I said, my teacher Swami Chinmayananda told us, the youth are not useless, but they are used less. And so I said to myself, when I can afford it and create enough money, that's what I earned by setting up a consulting company, that we would spend that whole money, the capital that we had created, into the field of education. And I dreamt about creating the School of Inspired Leadership. So this school, SOIL, which has been created as a result of a lifelong dream of a person from an army officer's house, to say we build leaders with true character. Character means those leaders who are in love with the mother, Mother India. See, Mother India needs us. We need leaders with tremendous character, people who really want to serve the larger mother. And having that enthusiasm, which does not get surrounded by all the negative energy in the country. You see, there are so many people in India who say there is so much corruption, the politics is bad, government servants are bad, business people are all selfish. Now all this negative talk, instead of having all the negative talk about the country, to say, what is my dream to transform the country? What are my strengths that I am very good at? And if I learn to use my strengths towards my dream, I do inspired work. I am extremely enthusiastic. So a large part of the SOIL study is about helping you to discover what is your dream. helping you to discover what your unique strengths are, and finally giving you the solid competence to solve problems, to think holistically, to learn the skills which make you get the best out of others. And above all, learn to lead your own self, because leader, you should know how to lead yourself. If you know how to lead yourself, you can lead others. So every one of these words mean a lot to us. The words of character, to serve the mother, the enthusiasm of knowing what you are good at and your own dream, learning how to use your goodness for that. And finally, the solid competence in all the domain which we learn in leadership and management about the disciplines of marketing, finance, operations, technology, human resources, strategy, but then learning to think holistically by using that to solve problems, complex problems that the world faces. So I feel very blessed that I got a chance to live out my life's mission, to also say thank you to my teacher and my parents who gave me these good values. And what I dream about is this wonderful connection with all of you who are also having a dream and who are attracted to the language that we are using. So with these opening comments, I congratulate you for the reason that you are each one thinking of doing something with difference. And I would like to listen to your questions so that I could respond to those. So please go ahead and ask questions. There is some. Please go ahead and ask questions. Ashish, you are asking soil is part of Grow Talent. Yes, in the year 2000, on 8th of May 2000, on the birthday of Swami Chinmayananda, we formed the company called Grow Talent. I stepped down as the chairman emeritus and the managing director and CEO for Aisher Consultancy, and I wrote to all my clients that I am about to begin my journey of creating a company which will dedicate itself to helping people to realize their full potential, called Grow Talent. And all my clients of Aisher Consultancy supported that, and they provided the seed capital to create Grow Talent. And the first board meeting on 8th of May 2000, we passed a board resolution that out of the profits Grow Talent makes, the first 10% will go to serve the poorest of the poor. Out of the remaining 90, 30% will be given to employees as bonuses, 30% will be reinvested in the business, and 30% will be given to shareholders who are putting the money. And every year, Grow Talent, we went with all our board members, which were some very illustrious people. For example, my first client was Mr. Noria, the chairman of Crompton Greaves, who is the chairman of Soil's board. He is the father of Dr. Nitin Noria, the first dean of Harvard Business School. And Nitin Noria is also a dear friend of Soil. So Mr. Noria, Analjeet Singh of Max India, the chairman of Max, Yogesh Andle, the founder of Nucleus Software, Arun Jain, the chairman of Polaris Software, etc., etc. These people gave us the money to invest in Grow Talent. And I put my sweat equity into the company by not taking the salary for the first 1 year and taking a subsidized salary for the next few years. Instead, I took shares of the company. Every year we would go as a company, Grow Talent, to Siddhbadi, to the ashram of Swami Chinmayananda in the Himalayas, where we go as students and faculty every year. And where we were all living in the ashram, Mr. Analjeet Singh, Yogesh Andle, Mr. Noria, and all of us. Bala Subramaniam, the president of Vaisya Bank, the MD of Vaisya Bank, who was also a client. So all of us got together. And we went to Siddhbadi, we offered prayers at the Samadhi of Swami Chinmayananda, and we said, what is moving us to create Grow Talent? And then we talked about creating a company to help people and organizations realize their full potential. See, in 5 years' time, between 2001 to 2006, Grow Talent became the leader in HR consulting. We overtook every single big brand, whether it was Hewitt or Mercer or PwC or EY, everybody. And when we realized we had become the #1 brand in the HR consulting space in India, we decided now is the time for us to invest in our dream of soil and education. See, we needed a lot of money to set up a business school of a high quality. So we decided we will sell one part of our consultancy business to our American partners. So in 2006 to 2008, we signed a partnership with a global company called Manpower Inc. We transferred the HR consultancy business to them, and we had created an education vertical. We had started a global MBA program called the Global Leadership Program for senior leaders. Plus, we had started doing custom build educational work for companies. We retained that with us. And out of the money we got, we constructed our first campus in Gurgaon, and we made the investment. So if you come and visit our building and see, it is a world-class building. It's not a big campus, but it is a building of 30,000 square feet, a very high-quality building with high-quality infrastructure. And that's we were able to do because we got this money out of selling our HR consultancy business. And we had an agreement with Manpower Inc. that we will not use the brand Grow Talent, even though the legal entity Grow Talent belongs to us. So we created the new brand called Soil, the School of Inspired Leadership. When we created Soil, we wrote to all our clients which had worked with us on leadership development in Grow Talent and also in Aisher Consultancy. And 32 of those best companies which are associated with us offered their help to co-create Soil. And you are aware that that co-creation means designing curriculum, mentoring students, teaching case studies, participating in admission interviews, and finally recruiting out of Soil. So it's been an absolutely wonderful journey. And so that's the long answer to what is Grow Talent, which is the parent company of Soil, and the Soil co-creation with the help of 32 of the best companies of India. More questions? Okay.
From Dev.
From Dev, teaching methodology at Soil. So Dev, the teaching methodology is, let me share some secret with you. For any education to be successful and for it to develop your capability, it requires 10% classroom, 20% exposure, and 70% experience. In leadership development, we call it the 70-20-10 principle. Now, when you are coming to us for that 1 year in Soil, the methodology is very unique. For example, how do we develop the character that you have? See, for example, the first knowledge you need to have is self-knowledge. That means learning to lead your own body, your own wellness and health, learning to manage your own emotions, learning to manage your own thinking process. Finally, learning to honor your innermost dreams. This part we teach you through a very unique course that I personally teach called Self-Leadership, which I also teach to our global leadership program, the same course to senior leaders of industry. This is through a series of intense exercises. It is also supported by an amazing teacher who has lived half her life in Europe and South Africa and the other half in North America. And for the last 15 years in India, she is a Shivananda yoga teacher. She helps you to learn to do pranayam, learn from good wellness habits and meditation and yoga practice. We believe that yoga really improves your creativity, innovation, and it really makes you a better person. So this combination of my course on self-leadership and Susie Roy's course on wellness helps you to lead yourself better. Now, how do we teach the emotional intelligence to people, which is far more important than just getting analytical intelligence. See, CAT and GMAT measure analytical ability, but the caliper test we use measures also your multiple intelligences. Your emotional intelligence is one of the important measurements. Now, even if you know that you are not great in getting work done out of people, you don't have this natural gift of working with others and getting the best out of them, but you have the inherent potential. So, how do you learn to develop that emotional intelligence in your heart in building trust with others? For doing that, we teach you the value of compassion. And how do we do that? We put you to work one day in a week on a social innovation project with an NGO. There you work with the slums, you go and work with the villagers in Gurgaon, you go and work with the women's empowerment issues, you go and work with cancer patients, for children with disabilities. All these causes, and we encourage you to choose a cause that matters to you. When you go and work with that section of society that you are not part of, see, something happens to you in the heart. You suddenly feel like doing something to help people in pain. That helps you to develop emotional intelligence, compassion. So that's how we teach compassion. Then, helping you to develop your own ethical standards. Now, can ethics be taught through giving lectures? I don't think so. So what we do in SOIL, we bring live case studies into the classroom and we teach you to simulate those case studies using theatre. So the best theatre artists like Lucian Dubé come and teach in SOIL. And when you perform the role plays of the main characters in the case study, then you explore the ethical dilemmas within yourself. So, it's one of the most advanced ways for you to teaching you ethical decision making. Similarly, when you have to take business decisions, we do something called the capstone simulation, which means after we have given you all the grounding in the theoretical subjects, you actually run an imaginary company where you take decisions on pricing, on market shares, on operations, and that helps you to really learn how to solve problems. So, a lot of our experience and the methodology of teaching is very holistic, it's very cutting edge, and it deploys multiple intelligences. See, that's why we take you for an 8-day trip into the Himalayas, where you go and live in the ashram, where you go and interview the villages around there, you go and meet simple poor women who have empowered themselves. It's a completely life-changing experience. And you come back after that trip and you come back to the ashram, then you prepare skits, dance, poetry, music, and you relate your learning through multiple intelligences. And our students call that an absolutely life-changing experience. So you see, plus we get guest lectures from the best lecturers. Our faculty members come from all over the world, and our full-time faculty members also are exceptional leaders. They are absolutely world-class in their knowledge of finance, marketing, economics, human resources. And so I think we are very fortunate of having some absolutely amazing teachers in SOIL. So all that cutting-edge methodology I talked about with some exceptional teachers creates a transformational learning experience. Yeah. So the one question that I was asked is, as we all hear that the market is bad right now, how do you see the batch of 2014 job opportunities? I think that's a good question. India is passing through a very challenging time. I think unfortunately in the last 2 years things have slowed down and we have a very serious problem in India. More and more young people are entering the market and we don't have enough opportunities for everybody. That is true. So, I think that, in a country like India, there is so much opportunity possible, but we have to make the right investments in infrastructure. And infrastructure is of two kinds. The social infrastructure, which is education, health, and the overall culture development. And then there is a hard infrastructure of energy and hydrocarbons and the cold chain for food processing and all the roads and everything else that we talk about. In the medium term, India will again begin to grow. In the long term, nobody can stop the rise of India. But yes, in the short term, because of a number of issues that have come up in India, we do have a challenge. Doesn't mean that you will have a challenge in getting good jobs. I think we should all know that unless we are willing to work hard and really develop some unique competencies, yes, you're not likely to get the best jobs, whether you pass out of soil or anywhere else. So therefore the message is, when the times are difficult, companies look for those leaders who have exceptional character, very strong values, and strong brain power and thinking ability both. So I think you should have that self-confidence that when opportunities are lesser, because you are willing to put in that extra effort, you will grab the opportunities presented to you. So, but the honest truth is, yes, soil, because of its wonderful linkages with industry, does get many job opportunities, but there is absolutely no guarantee that you will get a placement or a job. It entirely depends upon you and the way you use the opportunities that are given to you. One question you are asking is, Krishna, you are asking, is MBA right career during recession or GDP slowdown to the market? You see, I am not able to correctly, honestly answer your question, because on one hand, when you look at the size of the Indian economy and good quality MBA programs, see, there are more than 3,000 MBA schools in India, but the good quality MBA schools are very few. So all the companies, including the companies who work with us, they are looking for good quality MBAs. So when the market is slowing down, everybody wants better quality. If you think you have the capability inside you and the self-confidence, and if you can make the most of some wonderful learning opportunities that schools like SOIL give, then you should do an MBA. But then if you were not to do an MBA, what would be your other alternatives? Other alternatives would depend upon really what you are good at. So I will say, fortunately, in your time, rather than my time, when I was growing up in my institute, I did my MBA from University of Pune because my father retired in Pune. That was the only MBA school I applied for. And when that time, we had no company that came to our institute for campus interviews. We had to all go out and find our own jobs, and fortunately I was able to get 3 job offers, and I joined the Tatas thanks to my summer project that I did with them. So today you have many, many more opportunities. So you should do an MBA only if you think that you want to work in the world of business and corporations, and if you think that you want to develop the perspective and you have the confidence in yourself that you can make an impact. Otherwise, if you are very good in, for example, writing, you could choose journalism. If you are very good in say, entertainment, media, you could take a career in media or journalism. And if you are excellent in sports, you can pursue that. So fortunately, there are many more opportunities in the world today. But MBA is for those who believe that the world of business is exciting, and they have the self-confidence that they have the ability to learn multiple things quickly. Because remember, in 1 year, we are going to put you under tremendous pressure. Only if you have the ability to take pressure and you are willing to work 14 hours a day, with sleeping only 6 hours a day for the full 12 months, only then you should apply to a high quality MBA program. One question Pushparaj Shetty is asking, that is the SOIL model still relevant as the education is switching modes to online? See, online education is extremely useful, Pushparaj, if you are wanting to learn anytime, any place. So for example, if you are working and you don't have the time to attend classes, then online learning is fantastic. There are many free courses available online besides TED Talks and YouTubes and Apple University and so many other things that are there. You can go to Stanford University to take courses online. By the way, I and my students and my faculty members, excuse me, together took a course on creativity in Stanford online just to experience that. It's a free course. You can also take it. But no matter how many online courses you take, there is absolutely no substitute to being together in one class, in flesh and blood, have that experience of a cohort, and to enjoy the personal relationship and the touch and the feel of a really excellent teacher. But online can supplement. Of course, if you don't have the time to take a year off, then you can study online, and that's a good substitute. But as we all know, it's the real world cannot be substituted simply by online education. Rakesh, you are saying that you are from Bangalore, you are joining the BLP program, you have been waiting to hear from you since December. I am in office right now. My question to you is, how will soil help me grow as a person and as a good leader? Rakesh, as I mentioned to you, see, the first thing that soil will help you to do is to understand what you are really very good at doing. It's amazing to me as to how we all focus on our weaknesses but don't honor our strengths. We will help you to really focus on your strengths. Then we will help you to develop a strong purpose and dream that you have, to clearly state that, and to get committed to your own dream. Then we will teach you how to use your own strengths towards your own dream. Then we are going to give you multiple experiences which will teach you how to work with the underprivileged, to work for a cause, to teach you how to be a more happier and a more relaxed and a creative person. It will teach you as to how to be a better thinker, a better problem solver. It will teach you how to work with multicultural environment. It will teach you how to work with professors who come from Europe, from America, from different parts of the world, and therefore getting that multicultural experience. It will also give you opportunities if you want to go and study in Europe in one of the best programs on an exchange scholar, or you want to work in United States with the world's first MBA program on sustainability set up by some Nobel laureates. So we have some exceptional learning resources and opportunities. And the idea would be to expose you to these opportunities and for you to work very hard. See, one of the biggest things you will learn is how to handle multiple things under tremendous pressure. We are going to put you under a lot of pressure. This I must tell everybody in the class. See, the soil program is very, very intense and very rigorous. So those who are thinking that they are going to come here and have the good old college life and have a nice time in college, please don't apply to soil. This is a very high intensity, a very high pressure program. Therefore, we also teach you things like yoga on how to relax, to handle the pressure. But one thing you will certainly learn is how to do multiple things and to learn multiple projects. So all these are part of your development as a leader. So Ajay, you are asking how is PGP MLP is different from any other MBA program? Well, see, a traditional MBA program focuses too much on objective knowledge of learning more courses on finance, more courses on marketing, more courses on operations, technology, human resources. In our mind, that is important but not enough. So we do have all the inputs necessary on the basic disciplines of business. But in our case, as I have been stressing so far, 40% of our curriculum is to shape your character and strong values. 40%. No other school in the world has so much emphasis on character. See, I was invited by a professor from Harvard Business School, Professor Shrikant, to make a presentation at SP Jain School 2 years back, where all the directors of IIMs were also invited, and soil was chosen as a case study by Dr. Shrikant Dattar of Harvard Business School on what is exceptional about the breakthrough MBA of soil. The breakthrough MBA of soil is exceptional because, as Dr. Shrikant Dattar later on explained, it's the right balance between knowing, doing, and being. Being is learning to lead yourself. Knowing is all the knowledge of all the subjects. Doing is through all the projects we make you do. The opportunities to work on projects with industry and with NGOs. So it's the right combination of knowing, doing and being. Now some business schools are excellent in knowing. Some of the truly outstanding ones have the right combination of knowing and doing, and a very small percentage have the right combination of knowing, doing and being. So we are actually trying to define a new category of management education that we are calling leadership development, not just business education. So actually we don't even call ourselves a MBA program, we call ourselves a postgraduate program in leadership. Because leadership is very different from management. Management is all about planning, organizing, controlling. Leadership is all about envisioning, empowerment and values. There's a big difference between the two. And so we are trying to emphasize holistic. Of course, management knowledge is needed but not enough. So that is the differentiator with soil. Ashish, you want to know what is the role of finance? No, Krishna, if you want to know what's the role of finance sector in India. Well, Krishna, finance sector, as you know, is one of the most crucial. First of all, it employs probably one of the largest group of people in the country with all the banks, insurance companies and financial institutions. It also, the health of the finance sector really directly impacts the health of the economy. So it's a very crucial sector, and after you study in an institution like SOIL or otherwise, you can get into a banking job, you can get into an insurance job, or you can get into a finance function for any company. I think finance is very, very crucial because it really, the way you manage your finance and the way you position the finance industry can impact the way you have ethics in the country, and on the other hand your ability to raise resources and really make optimum use of them. So finance is very crucial. Ashish wants to know one more thing: what is emotional and social intelligence and why is it essential besides analytical intelligence? How soil plays its part in indicating these skills in the student? Well, Ashish, I have explained this earlier. See, analytical intelligence is very good in using a cause and effect logical understanding which tells you what is the problem, what are the causes of the problem. Now that's not enough. Once you identify the cause of a problem, that's only half the problem solved. The other is to come out with many creative ideas to solve the problem. Now creative intelligence is also what we emphasize a lot in soil. The ability to think out of the box, the ability to think innovatively. One thing I should tell you, analytical ability is because of your parents. It's inherited from your genes. But creative ability is because of you and the way you have been developed by your environment. At any stage in your life, you can improve your creativity. But you cannot drastically improve your analytical ability. So instead of getting a low percentile score in GMAT or CAT and getting dejected, we say forget about, even if you have got say 80 percentile on CAT or a 70 percentile on GMAT, explore. Do you have the creative abilities which those tests don't measure, which our caliper tests measure? Then, once you have passed the thinking dimension, you see, even though you may have come out with wonderful ideas and new ideas and you know the solution to the problem, you have to work in a team to implement the problem. You have to inspire people to do their best. This does not come through thinking. This comes out of the relationship from the heart. And see, emotional dimension has, at the root of emotional intelligence is knowledge of self. We call it self-awareness. In soil, we create self-awareness through the course that I teach on self-leadership. Understanding yourself. Leader, know yourself. If you know yourself, you become self-aware. In soil, we help you. We are the only business school in the world which halfway through your education does a very comprehensive 360-degree process of getting feedback from your classmates, from your teachers, from your mentors, from the industry and NGOs you have worked with. That 360 feedback is a wake-up call for you halfway through the course, which helps you to become more self-aware. Then emotional intelligence is about learning how to listen, not to what is spoken, but what is unspoken. Learning how to empathize, that is putting yourself into the shoes of others by getting out of your own shoes, and learning how to build trust through authentic relationships. These dimensions we teach through that practice of, on one hand, working with an NGO where you cannot help but empathize with a person in pain. You learn to listen carefully to those in need. And with them you don't have any facade. You are not there to sell anything to them or to impress them. You are there to serve a cause. So you can't help but develop emotional intelligence. Also, we have a series of courses, organizational behavior, which teaches you the theory behind emotional intelligence. Coaching skills, we teach you through a very outstanding faculty member how to become a person good in mentoring and coaching others. So, SOIL is one of the few business schools that honors the emotional intelligence very deeply. And I have explained that to others as well. Now, Nupur is asking, how much do you support social entrepreneurship ventures? Is there an incubation cell? I got admission in business leadership program. Nupur, you will be very happy to know that the social innovation program that we do, which is a 3-credit course where we work, we take that very seriously. We spend a large percentage of our time in teaching you social innovation. So, you will be happy to know that 2 of our alumni have already become social entrepreneurs. One of them is set up a school back in his home state in Bihar, in Bhagalpur, where he is developing education for poor children. Another one has got into rural hygiene products. He is developing an alternative to women's health products for women's, an alternative to the traditional FMCG sanitary napkins. This person is, with the help of his friends, for rural poor women to lift their hygienic standards. He has created that. And by the way, for him, the initial angel funding was given by one of the board members. So, although we don't have a formal incubation cell, but our board members and our network is more than happy to take a worthwhile idea. And by the way, we run a competition of a business plan in the school. We have the best project ideas being presented to our board members, who are all very well-known business leaders. And any student who is interested in setting up an entrepreneurship idea, especially of a social kind, will receive a lot of support from the SOIL ecosystem. Because as you can imagine, there are 25 of the very fine NGOs which are part of our network, 32 companies who think very interestingly and differently, and all our network of mentors. So I would say that if you are interested, Nupur, in becoming a social entrepreneur, we would be very happy to support you. And by the way, if some of you want to join the not-for-profit sector, SOIL has a very unique scheme. Because NGOs initially don't pay that well, and suppose we say the minimum pay you should get is, let's say, which is at the bottom of the salary that a student might get is, say, 5 lakhs. And let's say the NGO is able to afford only 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs. Then in the first year, in order to support your experience of getting into the NGO sector, SOIL gives you a scholarship for the first year in the employment. That means the difference between 5 lakhs and the NGO salary is given to you so that you can pay back your loan or do whatever else you have done for education. And we have that unique program to support those who get into the social area, the social sector. So that's another thing that you should know. S. Mukherjee wants to know what are the banking and finance sectors associated with SOIL, as I am from IT finance background. What are the opportunities I can get? Well, Mukherjee, I don't know what that S stands for, but let me say whatever that S stands for, because I love calling my students by their first name, and many of them call me by my first name, even though I am much older than them. You see, it's interesting that ICICI Bank is, of course, a regular recruiter at SOIL, and that's one of the financial services companies which is actively associated with SOIL. It's a part of our consortium. But we also have the insurance companies like the Max Group, which is very closely associated with SOIL. But besides naming these two and the obvious, other things like the public sector Bank of Baroda that is also associated with us, the interesting thing for you to ask yourself is, if you are very interested in making a difference of joining the financial sector, the education in soil will certainly prepare you. But whether we will guarantee the best finance jobs in the industry, well, we don't guarantee any such thing. But we do have a linkage, we do have a network. We also do a lot of work with Axis Bank, for example. We are helping them with their leadership development. Last year we did a lot of work for them. So we do have very good friendships and relationships with some of the best financial services organizations. But do not join soil because you expect that we will guarantee a job for you. No. But opportunities are created. It's up to you to excel and to work for them. Now, Okira Pandian is asking, this is what I want to do in my life. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. How much of non-availability of AIE affiliation affect the credibility of this program? Well, Palak, those who are playing very safe and they want, let me tell you one thing. I have been on the other side of the fence. When I was in Eicher Consultancy or Grow Talent or Eicher Group or even Tata Motors, which was my first job, I went to all the top business schools to recruit, to all the IIMs and to all the, the SP Jains, the MDIs and all these institutions. I never ever in my life, even though I must have interviewed 10,000 MBAs in my life, I never once asked the question, what is the certificate your institution gives? You must be knowing that XLRI and IIMs till recently did not even bother to get their own program certified by the government. So let me tell you one thing as a recruiter. No recruiter cares on whether you have got a Government of India approval or not. They look at the quality of your students, they look at the quality of your faculty, they look at the quality of the way you teach. That's all they are concerned about. So, and the reason we have not gone to government for approvals is we don't want interference from the government. Once you go to AICT, they will come for inspection, they will try to change our curriculum. So ISB and SOIL are two institutions which have taken a stand that we want a more innovative model on education. We don't want to get government interference. That's why we have exclusively declared on our website, we have not applied to government for approval. Okay. Krishna is asking your point of view, what is the role of entrepreneurship in India? Well, Krishna, entrepreneurship is very important. See, when I became an entrepreneur, first I became an entrepreneur within a company because the Eicher board and the Eicher chairman, who's my mentor, Mr. Vikram Lal, he gave me the capital to set up Eicher Consultancy, which became a division of Eicher. So first I became what you may call an intrapreneur, which is an entrepreneur inside a company. Then when I had fulfilled my basic requirements and my children were still small, I decided to become an entrepreneur in 2000 when my daughter was only 11 years old and she had this dream of studying further and so on and so forth. So, you see, a lot of us go through this period and I put all my retirement funds into becoming an entrepreneur. My son, who did his MBA from the Kelley School of Business, Indiana University, and worked with one of the best brands in America, he came back to India a few years back and now he's become an entrepreneur. So he set up a chain of restaurants of his own. He calls it Flip Bistro. So he has 4 of them in Gurgaon, and today I went for his puja of his 5th restaurant in Delhi. He's opening a 6th one 3 months from now in Delhi. He employs more than 100 people. He's working really hard. And I think this is something that I really admire about today's young generation. So it took me, I was 45 when I became a full-time entrepreneur. My son did it when he was 30. And I think some of you can do it at 25. Why not? So India's real wealth is its ability to have entrepreneurs. We are natural entrepreneurs. We have the ability to come out with new ideas and to learn that. And Indian entrepreneurs are famous worldwide. So I think entrepreneurship is very important because that's the real wealth of India. Most of the GDP of growth of India will come out of small companies created by entrepreneurs, not just the big employers who create big time employment. So go for it. If you are interested in becoming an entrepreneur, follow your dream. That's something very nice. Yeah. Shweta, you are asking why is there action learning instead of actual internship? Shweta, in the first year in soil, we actually tried internship and we sent them for 7 weeks to industry. See, what we found when they came back, and our placement process was to follow soon thereafter. See, first of all, because we run a 1-year MBA program which starts in May, you see, by the time we can send you for internship, it is only, the earliest could be October, November. And placement starts in December, January. So if we send you off for those 7 weeks, for example, the unfortunate thing that we realized in our first year is we lost some 7 crucial weeks for helping us to prepare you for your placement. So, and because we take Shweta people with experience, industry people told us there is no need for the traditional internship which is given to purely to freshers to get them some industry experience. So instead of that, we chose this other approach which ISB does and soil does, which is make students work on projects. This is the nearest substitute. So you develop linkages with companies, they get to know you. So some of the students get placed as a result of that. But also it gives you some practical experience in industry. So in a 1-year program, actually internship is generally not done. And therefore most 1-year programs generally take people with experience. So that's an answer. Now somebody is asking, sir, this is a person whose name is Krishna. Chintan. Okay, Chintan Dugal, is that the name? Chintan Dugal is asking, sir, very motivating talk. Are you having foreign faculty as well? If so, from which institutes? So Chetan, it's all listed on our website. There are many international faculty. For example, right now in soil, we have Dr. Paul Toczynski. He was earlier in the United States. He is the father of the whole systems thinking movement of the world. And, you know, he's somebody extremely well known. He is teaching this whole course on whole systems thinking. We have Dr. Svetlana Masdar from Minneapolis, from the Carlson School of Business. We have, you know, Dr. Lilak Nachum from New York University. She is one of the most outstanding teachers on global strategy. So we have, if you go to our website, you will see many of their faculty names and biodatas. We get people from all over the world to teach. So you're right. Okira Pandian wants to know, could you please let me know how to prepare myself better before entering soil? Well, my friend, first thing you test yourself is, preparing yourself is, if you have studied finance subjects earlier or accounting earlier, brush them up. If you have not studied earlier those subjects, go online, find a basic course on accounting which you should familiarize. What is a debit, what is a credit, what's a balance sheet? Because that is a subject, if you have not studied earlier, generally people struggle with that. 2, if you are already very good at Excel, fine. If you are not good, master your Excel skills. 3, test your English, spoken and written English. If there are even small areas of improvement, polish it. Because this is extremely important, as you know, because communication skills are very, very important. So I would say these 3 things you can prepare before you come. That would help you. Weber wants to know how soil helps in refining individual as entrepreneur. Well, Weber, all of us who are on the board of soil are all entrepreneurs. So first, you know, there is a whole network of entrepreneurs associated with soil as board members, as mentors, and so on. Secondly, we have classes on developing your entrepreneurial ability. However, I must tell you this. In the beginning of the year, we asked soil students, how many of you want to become entrepreneurs? We will create a separate track for you. So in the beginning, many hands go up. Then we later on asked them, few months into the program, how many of you want us to invest in only your entrepreneurship ideas? And how many therefore will not want to participate in placement? And we tell them, if your entrepreneurial idea does not work, you can come back for placement the following year. Frankly, very few students have the courage to go for entrepreneurship after 1 year. So only a handful of students in our 3 batches who have passed out so far, only 6 or 7 have got into entrepreneurship ventures. So that means people are all dreaming about being entrepreneurs, but they want to do it after a few years because many take loans to study. When they pay back the loans, then they want to become entrepreneurs. But if you want to become an entrepreneur early, you make a bold statement to soil saying, I'm not interested in a job, I want to be an entrepreneur, mentor me, put me in touch with good people, we will do that for you. Okay? Karthik is asking, soil provides certification instead of degree, but most of companies looking for degree candidates instead of certificate. Karthik, your information is wrong. No company looks for degree. I told you I have recruited and interviewed more than 10,000 MBAs in my life. That is not true. People do not care about the certificate. They only look for the quality of education. ISB does not give a degree. We don't give a degree. As you know, even IIMs don't give a degree. They only give a diploma. Till a few years back, they were only giving a certificate. XLRI does not give a degree. So the best institutions in India don't give degrees. They give either diplomas or their own certificates. And what you are saying is not correct. You name to me one company in India which insists on a degree. Because the best companies are associated with soil and they don't insist on degree. So you should have the answer. Also, what kind of verticals and domains are you interested in? And we try to match you with the kind of person from that domain or that kind of career background. But irrespective of whether that is possible or not, because there are many practical considerations, you may have preferences, the mentors may have practical aspects of how many they can take at one time. So we try to do that to the best of our abilities, because mentorship starts a few months into your joining the program. By that time we get to know you better, and then all the mentors also come here and we have a workshop jointly between mentors and mentees, and we give you a chance to mix with each other, and then the allocation is done. Okay? Now wants to know more about the mentorship program. How frequent is the interaction? See, mentorship is done typically once a month, and therefore you have these 12 sessions over 12 months, or say 10 sessions. Each session is of a couple of hours, but you can also speak to your mentor on the phone or through email. And so on an average, we tell a mentor you have to spend about 40 hours with the student over the year, and either through email or phone calls. So that's the kind of mentorship help you get. But sometimes even one mentoring session is extraordinarily transformational, but sometimes it takes you 3 or 4. And sometimes, there are soil students who have been, even 3 years after they have passed out of soil from our first batch, they are still in touch with their mentors and they have become lifelong friends with them. So that could happen. Raj, you want to know, remember in one of the interviews said about left and right brain activities, soil creating leaders with left and right brain activities balance. Raj, you are absolutely right. We call it whole brain. Left brain, right brain is whole brain, but not just brain, also heart. Not just heart and brain, but also your spirit and soul. And not to mention keeping this body and the 5 senses also in healthy shape through pranayama, yoga and meditation, so that the body, the mind, the intellect, the brain and the soul are all aligned. So the soil experience is holistic. It puts everything together. Rohit wants to know, is the caliper test in soil is similar or equivalent to tests conducted by TAS? The Tata Administrative Service also uses a psychometric tool, which I am familiar with because it is the one which it tests the level of complexities. But that tool of TAS focuses a lot on thinking skills and your ability to grasp complexity. The caliper part of that is the same thing, which is called abstract reasoning. But caliper also measures your creativity, which TAS test does not do. It also measures your emotional intelligence, which TAS test does not do. Therefore, I think the 2 tests are different, but part of the TAS test is similar to part of caliper. RR, you said during your interaction with soil students and alumni, you could sense marketing leadership program is not stabilized like BLP and HRLP. Well, actually, it's a matter of perception, RR, because marketing program is a younger program. BLP and HRLP is what we started with, and later on we entered marketing. We announced the marketing leadership program. So if you look at our recruiters, And if somebody means by marketing only FMCG companies, so then you can say that some of the best brands in FMCG are not regular recruiters at Soil, like Hindustan Levers, even though it's a board member, or P&G, or Reckitt, or some of these multinational brands. So that may be true. But on the other hand, we have some exceptional brands like, for example, Amul that come here, or Mother Dairy which have come in the past, or many other companies which are hiring for marketing jobs which are in consumer durables or industrial products, or even marketing of services like the Taj Group of hotels, for example. So, being a newer program, of course that perception that it will take more time to settle down, but that also comes because some of our students say, why can't you get Hindustan Levers to campus for recruitment since they are a consortium member? Why can't you get Procter & Gamble? Why can't you get Reckitt? So some of these global FMCG companies. So it's a fact that these global FMCG companies have fewer jobs. They go to a select number of schools, and so far they don't come to Soil. That's true. So that perception may be partly true. But if you look at the larger purpose of the marketing program as giving you the ability to help organizations to do marketing of services, rural marketing, brand building, industrial products, B2B, then I think the program is broad-based. I don't think you should come to Soil because you are looking for either MLP or HRLP and BLP. Frankly, these titles are only an excuse for you to get one career track. A large part of our activities are together. The first 4 months are common for everybody. Then later on also we find there is a lot of common activity between the HR and marketing. BLP is the only one because that is meant with the class with more experience. Therefore, there we get in sometimes more complex, let's say, aspects because the students there are more mature, more senior. So, therefore, we attend to them a little bit differently. But otherwise, in our eyes, all the three programs are equal. We have a very talented and a very passionate head of the marketing program, Professor Bhattacharya. You can talk to our alumni and students about him. I think the students really love working with him. And last year, for example, our students won the first runner-up prize amongst more than 100 business schools in the marketing quiz that was done in Ahmedabad, where it beat many IIMs to get the second prize. And this was personally mentored by Professor Bhattacharya. And I think, therefore, things are changing. But yes, the marketing program does get, we take only 25-30 students in the marketing program. Maybe this year we may cross more than 30. But the HR program does get 40-45 students. This year we may make about 50. But our business leadership program is the one with people with more experience. So there, that is our largest class. I think this year that class may go up to maybe 65-70. So far it is between 50 and 60. So I think this year we are a lot more students are applying to Soil. There are a lot more very high quality students applying to Soil. So I think if you do get selected, or if you have already got selected, you should congratulate yourself because a lot of very good students are applying to Soil now after the batches have passed out. Krishna, you want to know what are your specifications in MBA and what are the specifications in MBA and Soil? Krishna, I don't understand that question.
Specialization.
Oh, specialization on MBA and Soil. So Krishna, 3 specializations. One is business leadership, which means that gives you this, and that has focus on things like B2B domain, project management, program management that prepares you for job in IT or in operations. So there's a lot more on IT, operations, analytics, business analyst role, project management roles, also roles in B2B development, business development, also in consulting. So those kinds of area, we call that more business leadership, and also more focus on finance. Then there is a focus on pure marketing, brand building, rural marketing, services marketing, digital marketing, all that stuff with a specialization in marketing and sales. And finally, the third specialization is in human resources. So people looking for careers in finance, technology, operations apply for business leadership program, and finance goes to the business leadership program too. And the ones who specialize in marketing go to the marketing program. Those who want to specialize in HR go to the HR program. So these are the specializations. Akhilesh, consulting job opportunities for soil students. Yeah, every year about 9 or 10 students join the consulting industry. These are different companies. Some of them are HR consulting companies like Mercer or Hewitt. Some of them join our own consulting division of soil, which does a lot of consulting on leadership consulting. And we work with some of the best companies in India on some very, very strategic jobs. Some of them join boutique consulting companies like Avenir Consulting, which has recruited out of soil. The founder of Avenir, Prasun Chaudhary, also teaches in soil. And but if you are asking, do the McKinseys or BCGs come to soil for recruitment so far? No. They don't come to soil for recruitment. So if you are wanting to join a McKinsey or a BCG, then I think you should join a different business school, because they are not coming to soil for recruitment. RR wants to start your own venture. In that case, I felt MLP will be very useful to achieve my own dream. But how functional concepts of marketing or business administration is covered in 1 year? Well, RR 1 year program, we pack a lot into the 1 year program. So we do the same number of courses 2 years in 1 year. How do we manage that? We eliminate all your vacations. There are very few breaks. How do we eliminate that? How do we manage that? We put you 6 days a week into very intense education instead of 5 days a week. How do we manage that? We ask you, your workload every day is 12 to 14 hours. You may be in campus only for 6 or 7 hours, but you are given projects and things to read and do. So the pressure on you is a lot. So that is the one good advantage, because people who are already working in industry, they prefer the 1 year program, because 2 years program has too much of opportunity cost. So we manage that only because of the intensity of the pressure and the program design. That's how we manage it. Krishna, what are your success mantra in your life? Krishna, I am, let me share a secret with you. If you become the world's best follower, leadership happens to you. What do I mean by that? If you are deeply in love with a cause, I am deeply in love with the cause of serving the Mother India, and I want to do that through the field of education by developing people like many of you who will think about serving, about seva, about doing good in society. So, if you are deeply in love with a cause, you become a leader. So, the best part of life is to become the world's best follower of a cause that you believe in. Then people will come to support you. You will get a lot of blessings. So, irrespective of whether any of you join soil or not, I hope you will pick up a cause in your life that you will deeply love. And my blessings are with you. If you invoke that in your life, magic will happen. So that has been that is what I learned from my guru, from my parents, from my mentors. Whatever you do, do it with your full heart. Don't do anything which is not with full heart. Life is very precious and it is very short. With so much difficulty we take human birth. We must honor every moment. That is what will make our life so special. RR, you are saying kudos to soil for having yoga. Yes, we are very happy with that. Hartha is asking, your approach is so much lively. I am from manufacturing background. Kindly tell me the various roles companies approach with. Well, actually, Hari, if I may call you that, Harihar, there are so many manufacturing companies which are associated with soil. Unfortunately, we don't have too many engineers with manufacturing background who apply to soil. Very few apply. And see, we have so many manufacturing companies, Volvo, Eicher, and TVS Group and ACC. If you look at all the companies associated with soil, many of them are hardcore manufacturing. And we are actually trying very hard to get good manufacturing engineers to come and study at soil, because there are so many good jobs available for manufacturing people. So what jobs could you get? Well, you could go back into operations, you could work in vendor development, you could work in materials, you could work in manufacturing, resources planning, you could work on optimizing production. So there are so many things in supply chain that people would like to have, provided you really want to work there. See, many MBAs after doing MBA, unfortunately, they don't want to go back and work in operations or supply chain, which I think is not good for the country. So if you are dreaming about that, let me assure you, not just through soil, whether you join soil or not, you will get plenty of job opportunities, because good manufacturing companies are looking for MBAs who want to work on the shop floor. So I congratulate you for thinking like that. You will have many good opportunities. And India needs more MBAs like that who work in operations. S. Mukherjee, I apologize for not mentioning at first time if soil is applying for any foreign accreditation such as AMBA, and if soil gets accreditation in future, will there be a change in present certificate? After we finish 5 years of our existence, we will apply for the accreditation, because the global accreditation program does require 5 years. You are absolutely right. We have made a roadmap of getting an international accreditation, and we have been told it takes 5 years. And then there are some other goals they have set to us: hire more PhDs, do more research. So we have started working in that direction. So after ISB started, it took them 5 years to get the accreditation. So we have just started the process this year. So maybe in 5 years' time, we may get the accreditation. But we will certainly strive for that, because that will not want any government approval. Ashish is asking, where do you see soil in next 5 to 10 years? Ashish, in next 5 to 10 years, soil will grow from one campus in Gurgaon to the second campus in Pune. We have bought land in a place called Kolvan, which is 30 minutes from Pune city and 1 hour from Pune airport. Kolvan, the land we have bought is adjacent to Swami Chinmayananda's beautiful ashram there. It's in the hills on the road towards Mulshi. Very close to that is the Mahindra United College. Very close to that is also Sai Baba Center. So it's a very beautiful location. It's also within driving distance of Lonavala. So we have bought our land. The land has been registered in our name. Now we have to get government approvals for construction and getting all that. That will take over the next few months. So by 2015, we hope to start our classes in Pune. And then that campus will grow. There we are going to have also a focus on leadership, not just for the business, but for NGO sector and for the government sector. Because we would like people to study together with that purpose of working together. If civic society and NGOs and government and business people together work together to improving India, I think a lot can be done. So that is what we are dreaming about in our new campus. And of course, we will continue to grow our services. We will continue to also offer, we have started part-time MBA. Last year, we started something called the Emerging Leader Booster Program. This is only based on sponsorship by companies. 15 companies have joined hands with us. Those students come to us. They are people with 10 to 12 years of experience. They come to us every 3 months for 1 week. And then they also study online. They also do projects, and we give them coaching. So that's our Emerging Leader Program. Similarly, this year we are starting a part-time program for outstanding HR talent of industry. We are calling it People Next. So every year we hope to offer a new program like that. And we want to grow in Pune. So all this will take us towards making an organization with a difference. And in the future, we dream about not just impacting government. In fact, in Pune campus, we are envisioning starting a program for developing young political leaders. If tomorrow you want to enter politics, you say, good people don't enter politics, and how will politics improve? So we are thinking in Pune campus of offering a specialization for those who want to enter public life. So these are some of the things we are dreaming about in the future. Nupur is asking a question, why you do not have a list of electives which a candidate might like to go through. Continuing my social entrepreneurship question, why not an incubation cell? Well, Nupur, electives are offered in business schools where there are number of students are very high. As it is, we have 3 streams of electives. Stream of electives for business leadership, for marketing leadership, for HR leadership. However, if we were having 500 students, then you can offer electives, because minimum a class should have 25-30 people for it to become a viable class. So as we increase our enrollments in the future, maybe when we cross more than 300, we will start offering electives. And your discussion on incubation cell, see, we don't formally call it incubation cell, but we create an environment for incubation. So, however, incubation cell sometimes requires physical infrastructure. In Gurgaon, we have limited space. We have only 30,000 square feet. We have 4 classrooms, we have a library, we have cafeteria, we have other areas. So, we don't have space for incubation. But psychologically and emotionally, we create an environment like incubation, because see, you get a lot of mentorship from people who are willing to help you in that area. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, you will get the same. But if you are looking for a structured incubation cell, which has got physical space where you can set up your own office tomorrow, unfortunately, we don't have that kind of space and resources. So that is the honest truth. Manpreet, you are a BTech graduate, passed out of 2007. You have an experience of 6 months in IT, 2 years in operations. Want to apply for marketing program? Yes, you are eligible for this. Of course, you are eligible, Manpreet. You are welcome to apply. Nupur, you are asking, courses in India usually do not promote innovation. Do we have to mug up here, or can we be creative? I love your question, Nupur. Congratulations. That's a fantastic question. See, I keep telling all of us, including my faculty, don't have the method of learning based on memorizing things and repeating them in exams. I am completely allergic to that. For example, even in the so-called exam, for example, the paper I teach on leadership, I tell them open book exam. You can refer to any book, internet, whatever. Because frankly, knowledge is available freely today thanks to Dr. Google. I think knowledge and information is freely available. What we need is how to apply that knowledge. How to learn to use it to solve some real world problems. So our emphasis is on teaching you how to think whole systems, how to become the best leader. Frankly, I am not impressed if somebody just gives me a lot of knowledge or information. That is not enough. See, first you get data, then you get information, because you are able to make sense out of data. Then you learn to apply that information and become knowledge. See, when the knowledge is used to create innovation, you develop wisdom. And see, when that wisdom is used for the benefit of mankind, it becomes union. That means these are stages of your development. And my dream is to help our students to rise in love. As my guru used to say, you don't fall in love, you rise in love. You pick up a cause and you rise in love. And see, then you become a fantastic leader, because there is a cause you are working for. So my dream is to make my students dream, imagine, think innovatively, think holistically, take responsibility. That to me is the real learning outcome. I'm not impressed if you get good grades or memorize information. I mean, that is of no use in life. But if you learn to take responsibility for your cause, Nupur, my dream is to create a learning environment in soil which addresses learning outcomes and not just giving you knowledge. It's a very difficult challenge, but that's what we are attempting to do in soil. Let me assure you, we are not 100% successful. That's the honest truth. All these are experiments in higher education that we are doing, but we have a great fun in doing that. So that's why even the grading system in soil is not the typical grading system that compares one student with the other. See, we have a competency-based grading system. So all students in our class can get what is called a role model grade, if they all have the same learning outcomes. So it's a very interesting system. When you study here, you will realize more out of it. Karthik, in your point of view, what are the skills required to be a successful leader? So, Karthik, 5. First, you must learn how to get the best out of your body. If you can't lead your body, cannot remain healthy, don't eat proper food, don't know how to lead your habits of getting proper sleep, rest, exercise. So the first, learning how to get the best out of leading your body, learning how to breathe. 2, learning how to lead your emotional self. Leader, first learn to lead your emotions. If you can't lead your own emotions and little things depress you, oh, no, this person did this to me, nobody likes me, my team is not good, you see, what do? I want my mommy, this kind of thing. Or self-pity, oh, the whole world is against me, how do I make sense in this environment? This is learning how to lead your emotions. Then, learning how to lead your thinking process. How do I grasp complexity? How do I become a smart problem solver? How do I think systematically? How do I become more creative, more innovative? So learning to lead your own thinking process. Then learning to lead your ego. See, all of us want to be seen, heard and appreciated. But if you go into that trip, everybody should see me only, I should become more visible. Everybody should hear only me. Everybody should only love me, appreciate me. So this ego trip can prevent you to learn more. So learning how to lead your ego. And finally, learning how to be led by that infinite divinity, consciousness, happiness inside you. That life-giving force. That force which is called the generator, operator, destroyer. The Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. That infinite consciousness. That tremendous power which is inside each one of us. Learning to be led by that life-giving force. That is the final act of leadership. Surrender to the truth in you, to the life-giving force in you. Then you become a true leader. Then you discover true happiness and joy. Then people around you want to be like that. That is the biggest secret of leadership. That is the answer. Thank you for asking. Akhilesh, does soil help a candidate in finalizing his or her specialization in case she is a dilemma to choose right course for his herself? And 3+ experience also to mentor them for switching from one current job profile like from IT field or to manufacturing or FMCG? Well, Akhilesh, yes. After your first 3 months are over with the foundation courses, if you want to switch over, if you want to switch over from HR or MLP to BLP, you must have minimum 3 years of experience. But from switching over from BLP to HRLP or MLP is allowed. And from movement from HRLP to marketing or the other way around is allowed. We watch you in the first 3 months, look at your interest and we do that. Also, for those with IT background who want to get into a new career track, certainly the opportunities are given to you. But when you are trying to change your career track, my friend, do not expect that people will respect your IT experience, because if you are getting into FMCG or getting into manufacturing and you are an IT person, you should not say I should be given more money and salary because of my 3 years of IT experience. You should be willing to start with those who are starting fresh. If you are open to that, then people are more open to take you in a new area. But the problem is because we have more experience, we want more salary, a higher position, and their companies are not open to that. So that is the honest truth. I should tell you that. It's not that easy to change career tracks, but if you are available in terms of openness of your mind, then companies will take you in that role. That's the honest answer.
So Rakesh.
Can I apply to PSU with degree from soil? Rakesh, don't apply to PSU because PSUs are too much governed by government rules, and you are absolutely right. Because the soil is not recognized by Government of India, so both ISB and soil, if you are joining for the view of joining public sector for showing that you are MBA, they may not take you. They may take you in soil in a direct recruitment, where if you have already got an engineering degree earlier, you can apply. But if your aim is to join PSU, my request is go to a government approved institution. That will be better for you. Chavi is asking, hello sir, the question might sound repetitive. Can we say that BLP is comparable to generic management in sense that it includes learning from all sectors? And if it's a better course to join if one aims to become an entrepreneur in future years? Chavi, if you are wanting to study with people with more experience, see, BLP is meant for mature people who have already who are very good individual contributors and now want to get into the next level of management where they want to be project managers or team leaders or people who are getting into the higher level of thinking discipline. So it's meant for those who feel they have already been good individual contributors in their profession and now want to broad base their experience. Whereas MLP and HRLP is to make them excellent individual contributors in HR and marketing. So that is the basic difference. It's a role difference. Therefore, we prefer people with more experience in BLP. Krishna, sir, is dual specialization is helpful for an MBA? Well, Krishna, you see, it's like this. Although we teach, we call it marketing and we call it HR at the front end, at the back end, a lot of courses are common. So if you go to our website and study the curriculum, some of these doubts will go away from your mind. My answer to you is go to our website, study the curriculum, and you match the curriculum with other good business schools, then you will get the answer. So, if you are asking, is the double specialization helpful? See, companies who come to recruit don't look at such things. They look at the way you think. They look at the way you relate to people. They look at your track record in the past of what you have done. They look at the way you learn. They look at those things. See, 80% of the interview success depends on soft skills. Only 20% depends on knowledge. So the soft skills are very, very important. The way you come across to people, the way you think, the way you deal with them matters a lot. So focus on that. Double specialization, etc. is not something that companies pay too much attention to. Okay? This is the question Shweta Singh is asking, or no? No. Okay, now, what are the roles offered by IT companies coming to SOIL? Roles are business analyst role, project management role, and business development roles. All three are offered. Shweta is asking, what is the probability of industry switch as industries recruit based on past experience too? Shweta, you are absolutely right. It's a challenge. So for IT companies who want to get into IT players like many of you who have been IT, specialists, for you when you get into marketing or brand building or say finance, it's a challenge. So your best bet is to apply to IT companies with newer roles. Sometimes it works out, sometimes does not work out. Or be prepared for entering at the same point as other fresh students. Then the probability increases. But you are absolutely right, when changing industry tracks is not that easy. Students have done it in SOIL, but it's not easy. So you are absolutely right. I think in most business schools that will be the honest answer. GJ number 9 is asking, honestly, it's a great session. It's amazing to revisit simple timings of life and realizing how they can help in day-to-day life. I'm sure a program designed with this approach will help grow as a good human being. Well, thank you, GJ. Thank you very much for your wonderful comment. S. Mukherjee is again asking, do you think there's a difference between studying in residential college and non-residential college? Is there any advantage of studying in residential? Well, Mukherjee, you are right. There is absolutely correct that residential college does bring students closer together because they can study after class together, live in hostel, have lot of learning from each other when they stay in a hostel. So since we don't have a big campus here of a hostel, so the nearest we do is there are some nearby places where students live together. For example, 30 students live together in a building just across the road from SOIL. And 20 students live in another building nearby. So we don't have all 120 or 150 living in the same building. So there are 20 here, 30 here, 10 here, like that. That is a substitute to hostel. but it is not the same thing. So we try to make it up by taking them for 8 days to the Himalayas, or we have some conferences in the evening, or we have some social interaction in the evenings. We have some events like that, or some forums. But you are absolutely right. There is no substitute to a fully residential campus. That is what we are going to build in Pune. Unfortunately, in Gurgaon, we did not have enough land, so we could not do that. So that is the honest answer.
So
Raj is asking, where can I get more information about the emerging leadership course in soil? Is it suitable? Yeah, is it available? Raj, it is available on the website, the Emerging Leader Program. But for that, the companies have to sponsor. And there are only 15 companies which are a part of that consortium, and only those employees of those companies are allowed to be nominated to that program. So it's not a market course where anybody from the market can apply. Only 15 companies that belong to that consortium can apply. So that is what the answer is. Raj, where can I get? That is the emerging leadership course you have already asked. Mukherjee is asking, great session, learned a lot from you in this couple of hours. Well, thank you, Mukherjee. Is any international management consulting like BCG coming to soil? No, Raj. They are not coming to soil. Shweta, thanks for the answer. Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, I just want to thank each one of you. I think this has been a wonderful session for me also. I didn't realize how time has passed. I think 1.5 hours have passed and I did not even realize this. So I congratulate you on this wonderful co-creation of this experience. You have inspired me by your questions. And I congratulate you on everything you are trying to do in your life. I'm sure many of you are going to be wonderful leaders. So thank you very much for being part of this session, and thank you for listening to me, and thank you for making this a very lively interaction. Thank you.